I'm going to give you an economic outlook of the things I'm watching for 2023 and how I expect them all to play out. We're talking about real estate, the US dollar, we're talking about potential wars, the upcoming recession, and I'll even show you a bunch of stock charts that I want to explain some things that are happening. Nothing in this video is intended as personalized trading advice for you. So what do we know about real estate? Now everybody knows it, but I've been talking about this for ages, and if you get involved and act early before everybody else does, there's a lot more benefit to you. One of my computer programmers, Marshall, avoided a train wreck by not buying a house when he was asking me if he should buy a house. And since then, things have only gotten better and better for a potential home buyer because prices are coming down. And now all the big banks are saying, yeah, house prices could come down 20%. Well, yeah, thanks for catching up with us, you guys. You hear about these inventory constraints. You hear about unaffordability of homes. Those things can change. Those things can shift and come back to a reasonable level where home prices are not always unaffordable. They are lately. Soon they won't be. And you guys know that Federal Reserve will raise interest rates even more, and I do believe that inflation will come down. And I understand the arguments that it won't. I understand both sides. And don't think that I'm saying there will never be inflation. I do believe that we'll eventually get into hyperinflation. But not now. It's a time frame thing. There's a time now where I expect that the economy is going to be struggling. I expect that inflation itself will wane a bit. And we're seeing a lot of declines in oil prices as sometimes a reflection of how much economic activity there is. So as expectations for economic activity decline, you're going to see oil prices react to that. Thus, the expectations of decreased economic activity are actually bringing inflation down in and of itself in terms of getting fuel prices lower. And I know you're not feeling the benefits of that yet. I get that. I'm just saying that have some patience. As Peter Leeds always says, just wait. And I'm one of the people who does believe that China will take over Taiwan. It's a matter of when, not if. I'm more in that camp. But I do not expect that to happen anytime in 2023. They're not even close yet. And I believe that they're first going to launch their new gold-backed currency. So that's a longer term thing. We're talking years and years. And real estate, in terms of how low it's going to go, I don't think that we're going to bottom out this year. I think real estate's going to keep coming down lower and lower and eventually turn the corner, but not in 2023. And in 2023, what will happen is that the Fed will pivot. They'll say, okay, we're raising rates too aggressively. We're killing the economy too much. We're finally getting unemployment to rise. And whenever they pivot, it's going to be dramatically good for precious metals. Add that to the buying demands and buying trends coming in from all the central banks worldwide, where they're breaking records how much gold they're gobbling up. In preparation, mainly, in my opinion, for the launch of their new gold-backed reserve currency. I'm not saying they'll launch the currency in 2023. I'm saying that gold will have a great run once the Fed pivots. And with that pivot will also come weakness for the American dollar, which will exacerbate the gains in things like commodities. But let me show you some stock charts. This is a Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is the NASDAQ. You can see here, this channel, that is the crash. Crashes don't happen in a week or a day or even a month. If you watch my video about what happened in 1929, you'll see that crashes happen for a long time. The crash had already begun well before anyone knew it had begun. You'll see it takes a long time for a crash to play out. It's more of a slow bleed than a wake up one day and find out that you're completely broke. Stock markets can crash dramatically in a day, I get that, or in an hour, in a minute, but I'm saying the actual crash will take a very long time to fully play out. But a lot of people watch the headlines and they have recency bias, and so they see one day the markets go up 1,200 points, and it's unbelievable. And they think, okay, we're good, we're back, we're getting the V-shaped recovery, we're bottoming out. That's not what's happening. There's a lot of rallies in a downward market. A bear market will show you some of the strongest rallies you've ever seen, but that's just people overreacting, jumping in too soon, or a lot of short covering rallies, which would have added some of the points to that big gain that we saw about a week or two ago, but it wouldn't explain all of it. This was a massive lurch towards getting back in, making money at a right price. This is why I told you in my videos previously, I'm like, this is not a time to really be doing anything. Just sit back and wait. There's way too much going on right now. That's why I also did that video about it's a market head fake, and a lot of people did get burned by that. And Of course, I think we're going to enter a recession in 2023, but I already think we entered a recession when they have the definition for recession and we meet that, and then they go, okay, it's not, we're going to add some more things. You also have a higher unemployment rate, etc. This is my point. This is the whole point of the way I think about stuff. The point is the unemployment rate isn't high right now. And so they say, well, this isn't technically a recession. Whereas I say, the fact that we're entering the recession is what's going to make the unemployment rate increase. And you've seen the layoffs. You saw my last video. That was all about the massive layoffs going on everywhere. And I know I said I was going to try and avoid this topic because some things, as I said in Upthinking, my book, some things are such a big deal that they just rise to the surface. You cannot ignore them. You can't not talk about them. It's like if you watch the news and see who's going to become the president, and you watch about it and you learn everything and you listen to every newscast about who might win the presidency, and then they become president. But if you didn't even pay attention to it, you'd still find out at the exact same moment. It's just some things are so big that they rise to the surface. One of these is the FTX debacle, which is bigger than Madoff at this point. It's absolutely going to take years to clean this up. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits that you're seeing even against Tom Brady and Giselle Munchkin. Is that her name? But we got a comment from a longtime follower, Carl Young. He put a link to a video about the FTX breakdown. I watched the whole thing. It was a really good one. I've seen a lot of content on this. This is one of the better ones I've seen. So thank you, Carl, for putting out that link. And just a heads up to you and to everybody else. If you put a link, always say what it's about. I don't need to click on a link where I don't know where I'm going to. And I'll show you some stock picks now. Newmont Mining, which I told my daughter to buy, my friend Eric, my father. I bought it myself. I own a lot of shares in Newmont, which I bought a lot of them when it was a higher price. So I'm taking a bath on that, but then I bought a lot recently. And you'll see here on this chart, this is the consolidation. The longer this goes, the bigger the breakout, and I believe to the upside. I am so certain to the upside. In my opinion, you do your own due diligence. I'm not giving you trading advice. And speaking of wars, North Korea just launched an intercontinental ballistic missile, and the missile reached an altitude of about 3,790 miles at 22 times the speed of sound. The Kim Jong-un regime has carried out missile tests on 34 days this year, sometimes firing multiple missiles in a single day. So I don't believe that we're going to have a lot of hot wars, but I do believe there's going to be these kinds of provocations. We've got the big war in Russia and Ukraine. Everybody's watching to see how that plays out. And I'm always telling you, one of the things you want to own for insurance when there is wars breaking out is gold. Gold should have a price premium whenever any kind of military conflicts break out. And it isn't acting as it historically has recently. There's a lot of manipulation of the prices of gold, but you can't keep it down. It's sort of like the more you hold gold down, the more it's going to burst out when it does go. And we are going to see some big moves in gold in 2023, in my opinion. So you might want to get into Newmont Mining or look into it, at least make your decision. I'm not telling you to do that. I don't know if it goes to zero. I don't know. But also, I sent an email 2 days ago to Stephanie, who does all the analysis and heavy lifting for the peterleeds.com newsletter. I said, what you put out today is absolutely perfect. That's exactly how I envision what we need to be giving to the subscribers. So I'm going to give you two of the updates that she put out beneath this video. So if you want to see what we're talking about, it's all there. Two different updates on two stocks we like that we recently profiled to subscribers. However you look at it, 2023 is going to be an absolutely pivotal year for the economy in terms of real estate, in terms of recession, in terms of inflation, in terms of precious metals prices. And getting set up right now, deciding what you think is going to happen and how to benefit or adapt to that, how to invest given what's about to happen. It's important that you look into what's best for you. The decisions you make right now and then leading into 2023 are going to be absolutely pivotal. This is not the time to take your eye off the ball. I tell you sometimes to step back and just wait and let things play out. And for a certain degree, that's true now, but you should be stepping back and watching and deciding what you're going to do so that you can land on your feet and help the people that you care about.